ओके सो लास्ट क्लास में अपन क्या पढ़े थे फार्माकोलॉजी की बिफोर द टेस्ट. Fine. What were we discussing about before the test on Friday? Which drugs would you be talking about? We're discussing about TB now. Drugs used in TB.
Therapy of TB.
I told you what are first line drugs and what are second line drugs, and we also discussed about first and second line drugs. Right. First line drugs may you have isoniazid, ethambutol, pyrazinamide, rifampicin, and streptomycin. Right. Second line drugs where you have ethionamide, thiazolone, panamidine, salicylic acid, amikacin, cycloserine, capreomycin. ये पूरे use करते हैं. Right. Depending on different drugs, some of them are bactericidal and some of them are bacteriostatic. Right. So how does isoniazid work? We're discussing about isoniazid in the last class. How does INH work? Okay, so if you don't remember, isoniazid inhibits cell wall synthesis.
Arrival.
Mm-hmm.
Isoniazid enters the body cell, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and it enters the mycobacterium.
Mm-hmm.
Then it turns into active form of isoniazid,
Mm-hmm.
and it binds to enzyme responsible for my, mycolic acid synthesis. The cell wall become weak,
Mm-hmm.
and tuberculosis, death of the bacteria leads.
Take it. So it essentially decreases mycolic acid synthesis because of which cell wall is becoming very weak and the bacteria is dying. So this is a prodrug, right? When you actually give the drug, it is in inactive form, right? The drug itself will be inactive once it is entering inside your body and into the body of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. That is when it gets activated. Hence, it is called a prodrug. All right. What are common adverse effects that occur with isoniazid? There are two different types of adverse effects that occur in two different types of people, depending on what type of metabolizer they are. अच्छा ठीक है, I'll give you a hint. Metabolism is by acetylation. ठीक है, liver metabolism is by acetylation. अब बोलो. फास्ट एसिटाइलेटस में एक एडवर्स इफेक्ट रहता, स्लो एसिटाइलेटस में अलग इफेक्ट रहता. What is the
Sir,
difference?
fast acetylation, hepatitis.
फास्ट फास्ट एसिटाइलेटस में हेपेटाइटिस होता. Okay,
Slow में peripheral neuritis.
all right. All right. So, how will the T half change based on what type of acetylator they are?
T half is more in slow acetylation, sir. 3 to 5 hours.
Hmm.
Drugs stay
Hmm.
long period.
Hmm. Hmm. In fast
In fast
acetylators?
acetylation, only 1 hour will stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In fast acetylators, the drug will only stay in that body. The T half of the drug will be 1 hour. It is not that it will stay in your body for 1 hour. The T half is 1 hour. So the duration of action or the time for which the drug stays in your body can be longer. It is just that T half, the time it takes for peak concentration to come into your plasma, that is 1 hour. Okay, where half of the drug is being eliminated. That concentration is achieved in 1 hour. All right. Other adverse effects that occur with isoniazid? There's another one that occurs. Pretty serious one. Achha, what will happen in patients who have G6PD deficiency if you give isoniazid?
Hemolysis.
Hemolysis occurs in patients who have G6PD deficiency and you are giving them isoniazid. All right. It is also common. Hepatitis especially is more common in alcoholics and elderly as well. Right. Now coming to the other drugs in first line treatment, we have rifampicin. इसको rifampin भी बोलते हैं. It is represented with R. All right. Now the main mechanism of action of rifampicin is that it will bind to DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Binds with or binds to either way. DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Okay, have you ever heard of this enzyme DNA dependent RNA polymerase? आप लोगों को last year microbiology पढ़ाया ना? When you were being taught about viruses and bacteria, ever came across this enzyme DNA dependent RNA polymerase? I can't hear you. Okay, so there are a few organisms that will depend on human DNA to divide. Okay, so what these organisms will do, especially if they are RNA based organisms, once the organism is entering into your cell, right, what this fellow will do is its nuclear material, so the bacteria, the viruses, especially in case of viruses, sometimes in case of bacteria as well, its genetic material will incorporate into your own DNA and it will incorporate into your own cell. And there is an enzyme called RNA polymerase. So RNA polymerase kya hai? It is helping in replication of RNA. It is helping in polymerizing RNA. That is why it is called RNA polymerase. Now, this enzyme is called DNA dependent RNA polymerase because the enzyme itself, the bacterial enzyme, will depend on human DNA to polymerize. See, inside the bacteria, there is an enzyme called RNA polymerase. This is specific to RNA type bacteria. Okay. RNA polymerase is an enzyme that is helping in polymerization of RNA, making multiple copies of RNA. Now, there are a few special type of RNA polymerase that are DNA dependent, meaning they will depend on human DNA to replicate. Matlab, once it is entering into the host body, so let us suppose it enters a human's body, what it will do is it will depend on your nuclear material, your DNA, to get activated, to get the enzyme activated, RNA polymerase. Once the enzyme is active, that is when it can cause replication. All right. So any bacteria, I told you, that bacteria needs to divide or multiply, whatever you call it. Well, if it needs to multiply, the nuclear material also has to multiply. That is reliant on RNA polymerase in this sense. And that RNA polymerase, the enzyme itself, is relying on the host's DNA. Agar that, if you are able to block that enzyme, which is depending on the host DNA to polymerize, what will happen? It will inhibit RNA synthesis. RNA cannot be synthesized without, this enzyme. Inhibits RNA synthesis. And ultimately, what will happen? Bacterial death. If that bacteria does not have nuclear material, one single bacteria cannot do anything. So, it will lead to bacterial death. Even if you have the other components of the bacteria being produced inside your cell, if there is no DNA material or there is no nuclear material, that bacteria will die. So that is how rifampicin works. It will specifically target an enzyme that is requiring human DNA to replicate. That enzyme's name is DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Because the enzyme is being inhibited by our drug, so यहाँ पर R आके bind होता, and it will not let that enzyme work properly. If that enzyme does not work, RNA is not synthesized. If RNA is not synthesized, the bacteria will die. Now, always remember, all of these first line drugs are never used solo. Okay? If you use them solo or if you use them alone as such, resistance will develop. That is why all anti-tubercular drugs are given in combinations. We will discuss about this later on in the class. But essentially, all anti-tubercular drugs are given in combination, one combination or the other. नेवर सोलो. ऑलराइट, ये समझ में आया मैकेनिज्म ऑफ एक्शन कैसा होता? डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ दिस वर्क्स? If you have doubts, speak up because I'll ask this tomorrow again. Alright. All right, then be ready to answer tomorrow. I'm asking you again, did anyone did not understand this part, or do you want me to repeat this mechanical fraction again? All right. Now, one important thing about rifampicin is that, especially in its PK properties, it is a microsomal enzyme inducer. Microsomal enzyme inducer. इसका मतलब क्या है? If you are giving co-administering any drugs like carbamazepine, valproate, any drug that is relying on these enzymes to get metabolized, their metabolism will become quicker and their effectiveness will decrease. Essentially, the duration for which the drug works will decrease. Even warfarin. Okay? Because this drug is a microsomal enzyme inducer, it will increase the enzymes that are metabolizing these drugs. If that enzyme level increases, the rate of metabolism of these drugs will also go up, because of which you will not see the effectiveness of the drug as it should normally show. Okay? Let us suppose carbamazepine is working for 6 hours. If you give a microsomal enzyme inducer with carbamazepine will work for maybe 3 hours instead of working for 6 hours. Example. Okay. Some other important points about this is that food interferes with the absorption of rifampicin. Okay. It has good oral absorption on empty stomach. What you need to do is take the drug 1 hour before food, preprandially. So preprandial or postprandial, वैसा. Prandial will indicate your food intake. So 1 hour before food, 1 hour before meal, or 2 hours after. Okay. If you are planning to give rifampicin, make sure it is on an empty stomach. If you cannot give it on an empty stomach, wait for 2 hours after the patient has eaten the meal, then give the drug. Okay. It gets well distributed and excretion is mainly through feces. 65% of the drug gets excreted through feces. About 30% of the drug, or 30% of the drug gets excreted through urine. All right. There are some other routes as well. One important thing about rifampicin, which we had discussed earlier as well, it has the ability to cause discoloration of body fluids, sweat, tears, saliva, okay, urine. It causes staining reactions, because of which those fluids, or tears, saliva, sweat, and urine, they'll become reddish orange in color. Okay, so you need to inform the patient about this, or else the patient will really panic. Other problems, adverse effects that can occur with rifampicin is that it can cause hepatotoxicity. Other than that, it can cause gastrointestinal disturbances. It will cause epigastric pain in certain patients, epigastric distress, abdominal cramps. It can cause nausea and vomiting. It causes flu-like symptoms. So the patient will have, chills, fever. It will have classic flu-like symptoms, body ache in certain patients. Certain CNS symptoms are also common. So CNS symptoms like headache, drowsiness, ataxia. They will not be able to walk properly. They'll have dizziness. They might be confused. They might not be able to follow your instructions. That is confusion. In certain patients, there will be peripheral neuropathy. Peripheral neuropathy will generally be seen as there will be peripheral neuropathy with pain. So they might have numbness in their extremities. Their fingers and toes में sensitivity कम हो जाती है rifampicin की वजह से, if they are specifically having peripheral neuropathy, right? And they'll have a lot of pain in that area as well. In certain patients, hypersensitivity reaction can occur. So skin rashes, urticaria, sensitivity. ठीक है, hypersensitivity reaction. So क्या बोले adverse effects में hepatotoxicity, gastrointestinal disturbances like epigastric distress, abdominal cramps. It can cause flu-like symptoms. It can cause CNS symptoms like headache, drowsiness, dizziness, ataxia. It can cause peripheral neuropathy, and it can also cause numbness in extremities, peripheral neuropathy with pain. It can cause hypersensitivity, skin rashes and urticaria. It can cause staining reactions or staining of secretions, bodily secretions like urine, sweat, tears, saliva. ये पूरे और reddish orange colors हो जाते हैं. The main usage of rifampicin obviously is TB. Other than TB, you can also use it in leprosy. You can use it in H influenza. You can use it in meningococcal meningitis. You can use it in pneumococcal meningitis, especially pneumococcal meningitis, which is caused by MRSA. You can use it for resistant staph, which is not responding to other drugs. You can use it for brucellosis as well. So that is about rifampicin. Then we have pyrazinamide. Okay. Z बोल के लिखते हैं इसको pyrazinamide. Now the mechanism of action of pyrazinamide is unknown. Right? MOA is unknown. There's no clear evidence of how it works. Now what we do know is that this is more active in acidic pH. Active in acidic pH. When compared to alkaline pH, it is more active in acidic pH. So that it is safe to give in pregnancy. आप इसको भी अगर अकेले दिए तो रेजिस्टेंस विल डेवलप. See, as such, this fellow, even rifampicin to a certain extent is you can give it in pregnancy, but that will fall under pregnancy category C. So if you do not need to give, don't give rifampicin. Avoid if possible. Until unless it is properly indicated, don't give rifampicin. This thing, isoniazid can be given in pregnancy, very safe in pregnancy. Category A आता हूँ. You remember मैं आप लोगों को teratogenicity के पढ़ाई जब I give you different classes. Right, there was a category A, category B, C, D, E, and X. Okay, so the lower you go, this is the most dangerous. This you have to completely avoid. This is the safest. Okay, so isoniazid will fall in this category. आपका rifampicin will fall in this category. Pyrazinamide falls somewhere around B and C. Okay. PK of pyrazinamide is that it will get absorbed orally very well and it crosses inflamed meninges. So आप meningitis में easily दे सकते हैं इसको. Liver metabolism, it undergoes mainly liver metabolism and excretion is through urine, kidneys essentially. Main adverse effects that occur with pyrazinamide will be hepatotoxicity, and it can cause hyperuricemia. Hyperuricemia. So what will happen is uric acid level will significantly shoot up in these patients. So क्या होता if someone is on the risk of gout or if they have gout, in such patients pyrazinamide should be completely avoided because if you are giving pyrazinamide in these patients, they might have gouty arthritis. Okay, special type of arthritis called gouty arthritis. इनके अंदर क्या होता है ये पेशेंट्स में यूरिक एसिड जमा होके in their uric acid will start getting collected in their joints and especially in their knees, and it will cause severe inflammation and pain. That is gouty arthritis. So avoid it. Pyrazinamide as such causes excessive uric acid in blood. If you give it in patients who already have the risk of gout, definitely avoid. It can also cause joint pain. In normal patients as well, it can cause arthralgia, joint pain. Then we have another drug called ethambutol. E. Okay. So ethambutol is also called E. Now, this drug is a proper tuberculocidal drug. Pyrazinamide will kill bacteria. It's a bactericidal drug. This is a static drug. It will stop the growth of bacteria. Main mechanism of action, how it works is that it will inhibit mycolic acid incorporation into cell wall, but it is not irreversible in the sense that as long as the drug is working, synthesis will stop. Meaning, once you are removing the drug, the bacteria is able to replicate again. Okay, so this will inhibit mycolic acid. Folic acid incorporation into cell wall. Incorporation into cell wall. Okay. Now it will inhibit one specific enzyme called arabinosyl transferase, and because that enzyme is inhibited, this incorporation of mycolic acid does not work. But it is only temporary. As long as ethambutol is present inside the body, it will stop the growth. As soon as concentration goes below therapeutic level, again we'll start seeing a replication of cells, and you will see symptoms clinically. Main adverse effect that occurs with ethambutol, very specific, is optic neuritis. Optic neuritis की वजह से क्या होता? The patient will not be able to differentiate between red and green color. It can cause color blindness. Okay, ethambutol, if not used properly, it can cause optic neuritis, which will cause color blindness. Especially, the patient will not be able to distinguish between red and green color. If the patient is having such a reaction, immediately withdraw the drug and avoid giving this in children. Contraindication is avoid in children because they will not be able to tell you the difference between green and red. Okay, they will not be able to. You will not be able to accurately test whether the patient is having optic neuritis. अगर आप adult में दे रहे हो तो optic neuritis test कर सकते हैं by giving them a chart and showing them red and green color and telling them to differentiate in between them. You cannot do the same in children. So उन लोगों के अंदर it will be difficult to detect. So avoid it in children altogether. Then there is the last drug of your first line, which is streptomycin. Now, streptomycin is the classic aminoglycoside. Same mechanism of action. Streptomycin. It will, bind to 30S ribosomes and inhibit protein synthesis. Protein synthesis is inhibited. Okay. Now, generally, streptomycin is only used for extracellular organisms, or it is effective only in extracellular organisms. If that bacteria is present in your blood or it is present in the ECF of the patient, जब streptomycin काम आता. Agar the bacteria has already entered into the cell, not so much. Okay, it has poor penetrating power. It will not be able to penetrate inside your cell that well, inside the human cell where the bacteria is growing. So only if it is present in blood and if it is present in ESF, that is when streptomycin will work very well. Otherwise, not so much. Okay, this also will cause resistance. अगर streptomycin 16 दिए तो उससे भी resistance develop हो सकता. Adverse effects will remain the same. Ototoxicity and nephrotoxicity, very common with all aminoglycosides. Same with streptomycin. Generally, streptomycin is given intramuscular. Okay, IM dosage देते हैं streptomycin का. Then we have a few small drugs in second line treatment. Discuss a few of them. Second line drugs may will start off with ethionamide because ethionamide is also used in leprosy. Ethionamide is a tuberculostatic drug. Okay, it will disrupt or it will cause mycolic acid disruption, because of which growth will not occur. That is how ethionamide works, and it can be given both in TB and in leprosy. TB plus leprosy. Okay, you can use it for both intracellular organisms and extracellular organisms. It can also be used for atypical mycobacterium. Atypical mycobacterium कैसा रहता? It will not give you a typical clinical symptoms. So, for example, typical mycobacterium is infecting your lung. It is causing a problem in lungs. Then it is moving to other organs, right? Atypical mycobacterium generally will start affecting other organs. Then it might go to lungs, or it might not go to lungs altogether. Okay, वैसा भी TB रहता है. There are a few organisms or few strains of mycobacterium called atypical mycobacterium. They will not cause lung problems, or they will not primarily cause lung problems. They might cause problems in other organ systems, and move on to lung, or sometimes they might not even move into lung. वैसा those organisms के लिए भी ethionamide is very good. Main adverse effects that occur with this is anorexia, loss of appetite. That is, it can cause metallic taste in mouth. specific adverse effect, metallic taste in mouth. Okay. This drug can also cause hepatitis, skin rashes. It can cause peripheral neuritis. Because it can cause peripheral neuritis, it is advised that you supplement with paradoxal. Okay. Because it can cause peripheral neuritis, supplement with vitamin B6. Right? You can avoid peripheral neuritis to a certain degree. Then we have another drug called bedaquiline. Bedaquiline, the mechanism of action is that it will inhibit energy generation in the bacteria. So ये कैसा काम करता? Mechanism of action of bedaquiline. This will binds and inhibits mycobacterial ATP synthase. So there is a specific enzyme called ATP synthase which is responsible for synthesis of ATP in the bacteria. अगर ATP generate नहीं हुआ तो energy generation नहीं होता. Right? If this enzyme is not present, obviously the bacteria will not be able to generate any ATP or energy. No energy generation. This will lead to death of the bacteria. That is how the drug works. Bacteriocidal. Okay. So it is entering into the bacteria, it is inhibiting a specific enzyme that is responsible for energy generation in the bacteria. Without this enzyme, energy cannot be generated in the bacteria and the bacteria ultimately dies. Right? Avoid giving it with any drug that will interfere with microsomal enzymes, whether it be inducer or inhibitor. Avoid giving it with any drug like rifampicin or any other drug. Agar inducer bhi hai, inhibitor bhi hai, avoid giving it with bedaquiline altogether. Main adverse effects that occur with bedaquiline will be ADR will be hepatotoxicity, it can cause nausea, it can cause arthralgia, it can also prolong QT interval. Okay, it can cause arrhythmias because of which it is causing QT prolongation. Okay. Avoid in patients who already have cardiovascular issues. The main usage of bedaquiline will be in MDR TB, especially TB which is not strains of TB which are not responding to rifampicin or isoniazid. उन लोगों के अंदर bedaquiline यूज करते हैं. ठीक है, मल्टी ड्रग रेसिस्टेंट टीबी अगर है तो या कोई और फर्स्ट लाइन ड्रग्स पे काम नहीं कर रहा. If other first line drugs are not working on one particular strain of bacteria, in that scenario you can give bedaquiline. Okay, generally you give 400 mg once a day for 2 weeks. Later on you'll make it 200 mg 3 times a day for 22 weeks. Generally given with food, right? Then इसके अलावा there are other small drugs. आप cycloserine दे सकते हैं. Cycloserine is a cell wall synthesis inhibitor. Tuberculostatic अपन इससे पहले miscellaneous drugs में पढ़े थे. Cycloserine causes CNS toxicity. It can cause headache, tremor, psychosis, sometimes even seizures. Generally used in this thing, resistant TB. Cycloserine, ठीक है, cell wall inhibitor है ये, cell wall synthesis inhibitor. Okay, static, not sided. It will not cause death. It will only stop the growth. Main adverse effects are CNS toxicity. Can trigger seizures in certain patients. Very important point. Okay. Generally used in resistant TB. Fluoroquinolones use कर सकते हैं. Ciprofloxacin, ofloxacin, sparofloxacin, ये तीन use करते हैं generally. MDR TB पे use करते हैं. Then there is linezolid. You can use linezolid for intracellular bacilli. Especially, it is very lethal to MDR TB. Other second line drugs के साथ linezolid को मिला के दे सकते हैं. Now, essentially speaking, when you treat TB, treatment of TB, why is it difficult? why do so many people die because of TB, and why is it difficult in general? It takes, if you have anyone, if you know anyone who has suffered from TB or is suffering from TB currently, you know that the treatment goes on for a long period of time. The reason behind that is a few factors. Okay, the bacteria itself has a very slow rate of division, so it will persist in your body for a long period of time before showing clinical symptoms altogether. Okay, and development of resistance is very common. Several strains have already developed resistance to most drugs, especially first-line drugs, and the chance of them developing those that have not developed in the patient is also very common, and it has the ability to persist for years together. Persist to for a few years. Okay. स्पेशली अगर प्राइमरी टीबी हो रहा है किसी को, प्राइमरी टीबी होने के बाद सेकेंडरी टीबी का अटैक होने में इट कैन टेक years together, maybe 20-30 years as well. You will never know, because what happens, especially seen in elderly people. Let us suppose there were people who in their 20s or 30s contracted TB. Okay, maybe several years down the line when they become older, let's suppose 60, 70, 80, when their immune system is much more weaker, जब attack हो सकता है. Okay, it can take that opportunity where your immune system has become weak, and that is when the secondary TB can attack. Okay, and it has a intracellular location, because of which it is tricky to treat it. Okay, not all drugs are able to enter inside your cell, and another problem with that is that even if you have drugs that are entering inside the cell, because of the drug, there is a good chance that human cells will also die. ठीक है, आप let's suppose there is a human cell in which the bacteria is entering. Let's suppose there is a human cell and उसके अंदर bacteria enter हुआ. If you are giving a drug, let us suppose this is your drug, this fellow wants to enter inside the cell, there is a good chance that what will happen is once it enters inside the cell, the normal functioning of your human cell will also get affected. So you have to take that into account as well. That is why it is tricky to treat TB. Now, the aim of treating TB obviously is to kill as many bacteria as possible. Okay? And you keep on treating TB to the point where you get a you get a negative sputum test. So there is a general diagnostic test called the sputum test that is done for TB patients. Okay, you ask the patient to spit out a little bit of sputum, and you ask them, you check the sputum for any bacterial growth. There is obviously a limit, but if it is below that limit, it is fine. Okay, you keep on giving the treatment of TB till you get a negative sputum test. Okay, minimum concentration which is present usse niche hai bacterial level. Let us suppose sputum test is sensitive to about 100 bacteria in about 10 ml of sputum. Example, ठीक है. अगर 100 के ऊपर है तो sputum test positive आता है, 100 के नीचे है तो sputum test negative आता है. That I'm only giving an example. Okay, that 100 represents that it is a very small, minute amount of bacteria present inside the body, and more often than not, it will be killed eventually, or it will not pose a threat altogether. Okay, that you keep on going till that point. Okay, it can be 100, it can be one bacteria per ml. So small colony, maybe one colony is only present, not 100 bacteria. Generally, treatment of TB जो है कॉम्बिनेशन में इसलिए देते हैं क्योंकि it can delay the development of resistance, it can reduce toxicity as such, and you can shorten the treatment course because it is going on for months together. आप एक ही ड्रग दिया तो it can go on for years together. तो आप कॉम्बिनेशन में दिया तो it will come down to months. The general chemotherapy of TB is given in 2 phases. Okay, first phase will be intensive. The goal of the first phase is to kill as many bacteria as possible. This will go on for the first 2 to 3 months of treatment. Okay, let us suppose there is a new TB patient who came to you in Jan. Okay, the Jan, Feb, March are first phase का treatment data, which is very intensive. The goal is to kill a lot of bacilli. Okay, as much as possible. This is more aggressive treatment. Second phase में it becomes more of a maintenance thing. ठीक है, यहाँ पर you are trying to kill dormant or persistent bacilli. Dormant or persistent bacilli को मार रहे हैं, ठीक है. This generally goes on for the next 4 to 5 months. ठीक है, तो अब जैन में शुरू करें तो मार्च तक जनरली विल बी द फर्स्ट इंटेंसिव फेज, देन मार्च, अप्रैल, मई, जून, जुलाई, लेट्स सपोज जुलाई टू अगस्त you will go into the second phase. ठीक है, drugs will change slightly, number of drugs will also decrease, and you are trying to kill as many bacteria that are persisting inside and they are living dormantly inside the person's body. Okay? That is how the treatment of TB goes. Tomorrow I will show you what DOTS is. ठीक है, डायरेक्टली ऑब्जर्व ट्रीटमेंट शॉर्ट कोर्स जो है उसको डॉट्स बोलते हैं. इट इज इनिशिएटिव बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया टू ट्रीट टीबी पेशेंट्स. ऑलराइट,